Our main event segment features Jimmy Uso standing in the ring. Jimmy says that he knows Jay is watching, and he knows that he's hurt, but he'll always be there for him, just like he needs him to be there for him right now. Instead, however, Sami Zayn walks out. Sami Zayn comes out from the crowd dressed in his hoodie, and Sami says that he's not here to fight Jimmy. He just needs to talk to him. Sami says at every time Jimmy uses the word brother, it breaks Sami's heart because that's how he saw them. He says they were dogs. Jimmy had Sami's back from day one. It was Jimmy that made Sami an honorary Uce, and without Jimmy, there'd be no Usi. But when things went south at the Rumble, Jimmy took Sami down with no hesitation, and Sami wants him to know that that hurt. Jimmy at this point is just looking angrier and angrier and angrier. And eventually Jimmy explodes, telling Sami that he is so damn selfish. You want to blame me? It was you, Sami. You made that choice. You stepped on me and you stepped on Jay. So what was I supposed to do? You made the choice and I did what I had to do because that's what family does. Sami says, let me tell you what family does not do. They don't make you test your loyalty every single week. They don't manipulate you every single week like Roman did to him, and he continues to do to Jimmy's own twin brother for years. Jay Uso then appears in the crowd. Sami again says he's going to make the bloodline come crumbling down, and he's giving Jimmy a way out. Sami is briefly distracted by Jay, which allows Jimmy to attack him. Jimmy then calls Jay to come down to the ring to help. This distracts Jimmy enough to allow Sami to haluva kick Jimmy, so both of them getting the upper hand on each other, while Jay is still standing in the crowd, frozen, not picking sides. Solo eventually comes out to chase Sami away, but not before Sami trades a look with Jay as he retreats to the outside as well, out of the arena as well. And that closes our segment with still in allegiances in doubt for Jey Uso. What do you think, Kate?
I don't know where this is going. You know, I have some ideas where it could go. Don't really care. This was riveting. Sami Zayn is a national treasure in two nations. He absolutely he is the best thing on WWE programming. It's not especially close for me. And I think that he what he was saying was, it seemed so heartfelt and but was so on the nose, like just picking up details from throughout this storyline to use to kind of cast doubt, like to plant the seeds of doubt with Jimmy now, not just with Jay. And it's interesting because he is so sympathetic that you can overlook the fact that his actions could easily be interpreted as heelish actions. He did turn on Roman when he had been brought into the family. He has been sort of manipulating everyone to try to break up the bloodline. But, you know, for various reasons you think he's justified, but I think that he's played this just brilliantly, absolutely perfect, no notes.
I thought, Sami as usual was very strong, but I thought it was really Jimmy, I think, who took center stage here with just this big outburst. I mean, somebody who we usually see is just kind of all smiles. He's the party guy. Mm-hmm. This was the moment for him to really kind of dig into emotion and anger, and I thought he delivered a hell of a speech here. You know, basically explaining why he turned on Sami and how resentful he is of Sami making that choice, which I thought he exemplified incredibly well, even on the night of the Rumble. So I love this from Jimmy, and they continue to sort of dangle that that mystery of where Jay is going to go. At this point, I almost feel like they might keep that from being fully resolved until, I wonder if they can go until the match without fully revealing who Jay is going to side with. I mean, can they build to a match maybe out of obligation with Jay still torn between choosing? But then how does that work in a match? I suppose. I think they could space it out, but not the way that they have been programming this. Because right now they have the bloodline. They know that the bloodline is their story. They know that that is what is making people tune in, and so they are featuring them on both Raw and SmackDown every week. And Mania isn't that far away, but it's far enough that that's a lot of time to fill
if you're not going to make some serious progression. Like if they are going to try to hold it off, they need to have some kind of detour planned in there that will eat up some of the time that they have allotted on both shows.
For me, I just see so much like positive audience want of a Jey Uso babyface run at this point. Like that, I don't know if I see them just extinguishing it just like that and having him side back with the heels. So how do they balance that? How do they continue this? Jey Uso has to defend the belt with his brother, who's clearly on the side of the villains, but how do they make him still get that positive audience reaction coming out of this? And at the end of it all, does he side with Sami? Does he side with Jey? Do we find out before WrestleMania?
I think that in a way you might actually want to resolve the Sami story, however that's going to be, before, like, Jey, his story predates Sami, so you really want him to have his moment alone, like not just choosing whether to side with Sami or Roman, but actually choosing to do, figure out a way that you can show him doing his own thing. The trick there is, where does he slot in? Is he someone you really see in the world title picture? Is he someone who's going to be feuding, well, if not in a world title picture, but is he going to go back to feuding with Roman? Can he handle that high a profile? We shall see. But I think at this point, they have made Jey interesting enough that it shouldn't be a question of him siding with another group. I think that they need to give him his own storyline coming out of this.